Learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. The important thing is not to stop questioning. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. A person who never made a mistake never tried anything new. You can't blame gravity for falling in love. I have no special talent, I am only passionately curious. No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. I know not with what weapons World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. It's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with problems longer. The only source of knowledge is experience. Common sense is the collection of prejudices acquired by age 18. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. Whoever is careless with the truth in small matters cannot be trusted with important matters. Imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions. The true sign of intelligence is not knowledge but imagination. I live in that solitude which is painful in youth, but delicious in the years of maturity. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. Intellectual growth should commence at birth and cease only at death. If people are good only because they fear punishment and hope for reward, then we are a sorry lot indeed. Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. Any man who can drive safely while kissing a pretty girl is simply not giving the kiss the attention it deserves. Pure mathematics is, in its way, the poetry of logical ideas. If I were not a physicist, I would probably be a musician. I often think in music. I live my daydreams in music. I see my life in terms of music. The value of a man should be seen in what he gives, and not in what he is able to receive. The hardest thing to understand in the world is the income tax. Everyone should be respected as an individual, but no one idolized. Love is a better teacher than duty. He who can no longer pause to wonder and stand wrapped in awe is as good as dead. His eyes are closed. A question that sometimes drives me hazy: am I or are the others crazy? Our task must be to free ourselves by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature and its beauty. The monotony and solitude of a quiet life stimulates the creative mind. Technological progress is like an axe in the hands of a pathological criminal. A table, a chair, a bowl of fruit and a violin. What else does a man need to be happy? If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value. Look deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better. Only two things are infinite: the universe and human stupidity, and I'm not sure about the former. Weakness of attitude becomes weakness of character. Coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous. We can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. Any man who reads too much and uses his own brain too little falls into lazy habits of thinking. The distinction between the past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. Never do anything against conscience even if the state demands it. Joy in looking and comprehending is nature's most beautiful gift. Memory is deceptive because it is colored by today's events. Information is not knowledge. To raise new questions, new possibilities, to regard old problems from a new angle, requires creative imagination and marks real advance in science. Most people say that it is the intellect which makes a great scientist. They are wrong. It is character. The only real valuable thing is intuition. Put your hand on a hot stove for a minute, and it seems like an hour. Sit with a pretty girl for an hour, and it seems like a minute. Imagination is more important than knowledge. It is a miracle that curiosity survives formal education. We still do not know 1,000% of what nature has revealed to us. The whole of science is nothing more than a refinement of everyday thinking. Whoever undertakes to set himself up as a judge of truth and knowledge is shipwrecked by the laughter of the gods. Reading, after a certain age, diverts the mind too much from its creative pursuits. Any man who reads too much and uses his own brain too little falls into lazy habits of thinking. The only thing that interferes with my learning is my education. The man of science is a poor philosopher. I think and think for months and years. 99 times, the conclusion is false. The 100th time I am right. When the solution is simple, God is answering. The most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. It is the source of all true art and science. My religion consists of a humble admiration of the illimitable superior spirit, who reveals himself in the slight details we are able to perceive with our frail and feeble mind. A man should look for what is, and not for what he thinks should be. All religions, arts and sciences are branches of the same tree. That deep emotional conviction of the presence of a superior reasoning power, which is revealed in the incomprehensible universe, forms my idea of God. I never think of the future, it comes soon enough. Anyone who doesn't take truth seriously in small matters cannot be trusted in large ones either. Few are those who see with their own eyes and feel with their own hearts. God does not play dice. People love chopping wood. In this activity one immediately sees results. Politics is for the present, but an equation is for eternity. Confusion of goals and perfection of means seems, in my opinion, to characterize our age. You can never solve a problem on the level on which it was created. The fear of death is the most unjustified of all fears, for there is no risk of accident for someone who's dead. It should be possible to explain the laws of physics to a barmaid. There is no logical way to the discovery of these elemental laws. There is only the way of intuition, which is helped by a feeling for the order lying behind the appearance. You cannot simultaneously prevent and prepare for war. The devil has put a penalty on all things we enjoy in life. Either we suffer in health or we suffer in soul or we get fat. He who joyfully marches to music in rank and file has already earned my contempt. He has been given a large brain by mistake, since for him the spinal cord would suffice. Concern for man and his fate must always form the chief interest of all technical endeavors. Never forget this in the midst of your diagrams and equations. Only one who devotes himself to a cause with his whole strength and soul can be a true master. For this reason mastery demands all of a person. Anger dwells only in the bosom of fools. I believe that a simple and unassuming manner of life is best for everyone, best both for the body and the mind. I am not only a pacifist but a militant pacifist. I am willing to fight for peace. Nothing will end war unless the people themselves refuse to go to war. Never lose a holy curiosity. Force always attracts men of low morality. I do not believe in immortality of the individual, and I consider ethics to be an exclusively human concern with no superhuman authority behind it. The pursuit of truth and beauty is a sphere of activity in which we are permitted to remain children all our lives. Do not worry about your difficulties in mathematics. I can assure you mine are still greater. I want to go when I want. It is tasteless to prolong life artificially. I have done my share. It is time to go. I will do it elegantly. Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind. The environment is everything that isn't me. Read more at Gravitation is not responsible for people falling in love. It is strange to be known so universally and yet to be so lonely. We cannot despair of humanity, since we ourselves are human beings. Without deep reflection one knows from daily life that one exists for other people. An empty stomach is not a good political advisor. When you are courting a nice girl an hour seems like a second. When you sit on a red-hot cinder a second seems like an hour. That's relative. True religion is real living, living with all one's soul, with all one's goodness and righteousness. In matters of truth and justice, there is no difference between large and small problems, for issues concerning the treatment of people are all the same. We shall require a substantially new manner of thinking if mankind is to survive. In order to be an immaculate member of a flock of sheep, one must above all be a sheep oneself. The high destiny of the individual is to serve rather than to rule. I am a deeply religious non-believer. This is a somewhat new kind of religion. I love to travel, but hate to arrive. Heroism on command, senseless violence, and all the loathsome nonsense that goes by the name of patriotism. How passionately I hate them. It gives me great pleasure indeed to see the stubbornness of an incorrigible nonconformist warmly acclaimed. Solitude is painful when one is young, but delightful when one is more mature. The release of atomic energy has not created a new problem, it has merely made more urgent the necessity of solving an existing one. You ask me if I keep a notebook to record my great ideas. I've only ever had one. Mozart's music is so pure and beautiful that I see it as a reflection of the inner beauty of the universe. The most incomprehensible thing about the world is that it is comprehensible. It is only to the individual that a soul is given. It is my conviction that killing under the cloak of war is nothing but an act of murder. The road to perdition has ever been accompanied by lip service to an ideal. To the master's honor all must turn, each in its track, without a sound, forever tracing Newton's ground. Few people are capable of expressing with equanimity opinions which differ from the prejudices of their social environment. Most people are even incapable of forming such opinions. Sometimes one pays most for the things one gets for nothing. Isn't it strange that I, who have written only unpopular books, should be such a popular fellow? It stands to the everlasting credit of science that by acting on the human mind, it has overcome man's insecurity before himself and before nature. Occurrences in this domain are beyond the reach of exact prediction, because of the variety of factors in operation, not because of any lack of order in nature. I cannot imagine a God who rewards and punishes the objects of his creation, and is but a reflection of human frailty. I have just got a new theory of eternity. One strength of the communist system of the East is that it has some of the character of a religion and inspires the emotions of a religion. All these primary impulses, not easily described in words, are the springs of man's actions. Too many of us look upon Americans as dollar chasers. This is a cruel libel, even if it is reiterated thoughtlessly by the Americans themselves. I am enough of an artist to draw freely upon my imagination. I want to know all God's thoughts. All the rest are just details. Nothing is more destructive of respect for the government and the law of the land than passing laws which cannot be enforced. I do not believe that civilization will be wiped out in a war fought with the atomic bomb. Perhaps 2/3 of the people of the earth will be killed. We should take care not to make the intellect our goal. It has, of course, powerful muscles, but no personality. Science is a wonderful thing if one does not have to earn one's living at it. The attempt to combine wisdom and power has only rarely been successful, and then only for a short while. The unleashed power of the atom has changed everything save our modes of thinking, and we thus drift toward unparalleled catastrophe. Let every man be respected as an individual and no man idolized. Small is the number of people who see with their eyes and think with their minds. I very rarely think in words at all. A thought comes, and I may try to express it in words afterwards. The process of scientific discovery is, in effect, a continual flight from wonder. As far as I'm concerned, I prefer silent vice to ostentatious virtue. The faster you go, the shorter you are. Knowledge of what is does not open the door directly to what should be. There comes a time when the mind takes a higher plane of knowledge, but can never prove how it got there. There could be no fairer destiny for any physical theory than that it should point the way to a more comprehensive theory, in which it lives on as a limiting. God always takes the simplest way. Human beings must have action, and they will make it if they cannot find it. The grand aim of all science is to cover the greatest number of empirical facts by logical deduction from the smallest number of hypotheses or axioms. True art is characterized by an irresistible urge in the creative artist. Most of the fundamental ideas of science are essentially simple and may, as a rule, be expressed in a language comprehensible to everyone. I do not believe in the God of theology who rewards good and punishes evil. As far as the laws of mathematics refer to reality, they are not certain, and as far as they are certain, they do not refer to reality. God may be subtle, but he isn't plain mean. One may say the eternal mystery of the world is its comprehensibility. I used to go away for weeks in a state of confusion. Morality is of the highest importance, but for us, not for God. I shall never believe that God plays dice with the world. It was the experience of mystery, even if mixed with fear, that engendered religion.